It's time to head to Arkham and check under the hood. Here's your look at McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Batman Arkham Knight, Red Hood. Since vanquishing the Arkham Knight persona, Jason Todd was able to lay his vengeance against Batman to rest and begin to heal the damage that was inflicted on him in Arkham Asylum. It was during this recovery that Red Hood was born. Now, while he is once again aligned with his former mentor and wanting to rid Gotham City of its criminal contingent, Jason Todd's proclivity in capital punishment will forever keep them at odds. Just about to look at a former Arkham Knight. But though before we do, I'd like to thank first the folks over at McFarlane Toys that did provide this sample of the brand new Arkham Knight Red Hood that we could have a look at this review. Grabbing then the tape measure to see how tall the figure stands as we always do in these reviews. In this case, Red Hood, factoring in his Red Hood, stands exactly 7 inches in height, or the figure in this case is 18 centimeters tall. As I believe we don't have a lot of Arkham Knight figures from the folks over at McFarlane Toys, I did want to bring in at least some Arkham figures, so here's what they look like. Here's what Red Hood looks like with the Arkham City Batman. Here's what he also looks like with the Arkham City Catwoman. And just because we also recently had a look at him, here's also what he looks like with the brand new Riddler. The figure of Red Hood comes included with, once again, a trading card, comes once again included with a display stand, and in this case also comes included with a pair of swapped out hands and some flame effects that you can attach onto the existing hands. Sort of backpedaling ourselves a bit. First, the figure comes included with a trading card, providing I can actually pick it up. First of all, I do like the idea that they used source material here on the front and didn't rely on figure photography. It does, though, bring one thing to my attention, and probably to the attention of many of you watching this video as well. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But flipping around to the back, the real name obviously is Jason Todd. Here's a paragraph read. You can pause and read for yourself if you so wish. I also did read this at the beginning of the video, so we're going to put that to the side. The figure also comes included once again with a display stand. A little more lighter of a black display stand than sometimes we get. There's a DC logo printed down below here. And once again, one neighboring peg just off to the far corner that can attach to either one of Arkham Knight's Red Hood that we can, well, of course, we'll attach on probably near the end of the review, simply just because I like to use these for dynamic poses in wrapping up the reviews. Okay, so as for the figure's accessories, the figure comes included with, once again, a reminder that we can't use pistols. The figure comes included with 2 trigger-firing finger hands. Try saying that 10 times fast. And because, unfortunately, we can't use weapons with these figures just yet, you would probably have to pick yourself up the accessory pack that comes included with all those pew-pew guns. Also something that McFarlane's team does put out. I have yet to really actually pick up either one. I think they've released now 2 of those sets. I really should try to track down a set. If not, I probably could easily just use pistols that have come out with other Red Hoods and just have them displayed with this Red Hood instead. So as of right now, it doesn't look like, well, it looks like he's ready to hold up somebody with imaginary guns. We don't have the guns, unfortunately, for this figure. But what we have at least is these 2 flame effects. One is sort of more of a spiraling flame effect that attaches onto his existing fist. The other one is what I can best describe as a swooshing flame effect. Both have been successfully accomplished using more of a translucent orange plastic. This one seems a little bit more matte of the 2. But again, these just attach onto the figure's hands. These are the better hands to do that, simply just because they are already closed fists. You just take one of the flame effects and just sort of spiral it around the hand. This really is the easier of the 2, and you get this really cool effect that, again, can attach onto Red Hood's hand. The other one, though, I'm not really sure how abouts I'm going to be attaching this. I mean, you could attach it like this and have it forward like this, where it sort of looks like he's got more of a blade effect. Or what I did do at the beginning of the review, and what I might continue to do, is attach it sort of onto the side of his hand, looking as if he's actually swishing his hand and leaving the trail of flame behind him. I'm probably going to end up doing that. I mean, they're nice looking effects, and I'm glad to see, at least, at the very least, if we're not going to be getting ourselves pistols, they take the time at least to throw in things like this. Let's remove that for right now, put those to the side, and getting a closer look now at Red Hood. He does look good. Again, the one thing about this figure sometimes is that these figures do miss the paint department. I mean, again, just to bring in the source material, you can see like there's a lot of wear and tear, scratches and stuff that are added to his suit that unfortunately kind of get a bit lost here when we actually look at the figure itself. Like mold-wise, it's a really nice looking Red Hood. His red hood, I should say, is actually made of a more softer plastic. In fact, his jacket as a whole is a softer plastic. It's attached what seems here and here, so you can't actually remove the jacket. You can't really remove the red hood either. I mean, you can kind of do your best to pry it back, but I think any bit of prying back will only just result in me ripping the plastic. But I did want to at least try my best to show you that there is a fully sculpted head underneath. It looks like it's painted all the way back there. I mean, obviously, when it comes to displaying this figure, you're not going to try to pull back the hood. He looks so much nicer with it on anyways. It does, of course, for obvious reasons, limit some of the articulation on the figure. You can kind of still get your thumb in there and rotate the head back and forth, but it's going to be really very difficult simply just because he's got this hood encapsulating his head. It's nicely well painted. You can even see as well the painted on logo there that he's got here on the back. It does look pretty good, though I would say here on the front, I wish that the logo that he had on his chest was a little bit darker than what we get right here. It's sort of more of a muted orangey red. I wish it was a lot darker of a red than what we actually get. Maybe even closer to more like this, and maybe even shinier too. But the thing about it really is that the figure is lacking a lot of the paint, and while he does have it here in the shoulders, and he does have it here randomly placed on his forearm, and of course he does have it here on the back, all the crucial places to have paint, I really think that they, again, could probably have gone in there and just added a little bit of wear and tear, especially here. Maybe not as much in the shoulders, although I would have appreciated a little bit more paint here in the shoulder area, but it would have been nice if they could have just added a little bit of stuff to the front of his chest. I mean, again, just to look at the card, he does have all these little extra silver accents there on the front of his armor. I wish that some of that could have also found their way onto this plastic as well. The lower half of his body does have some nice additional paint that they've added here for the belt. You can see there's a couple of bullets there, a couple of shells, I should say. And then here on the side, there's some additional gold that's added there for, I'm guessing, to be removable clips. Although in this case, while they are softer plastic, you cannot remove them for obvious reasons. They are holstered on either side. I mean, omitted completely is the idea of any holster. But again, I'm going to probably just go back to maybe my totes where I keep all my other DC Multiverse figures that I'm not currently displaying. And I have one, I have two, maybe even three red hoods that I currently don't have on display. I'm probably going to then use the pistols that came included with those figures and holster them with this figure. Although right now, obviously, I'm going to want to then pop the hands off the forearms and replace them then with those pistol pew-pew firing hands instead. Decently detailed down below here, we've also got the leg guard. The guard itself is once again softer plastic. So when it comes to the articulation on the figure, I mean, obviously it's not going to get in the way of things anyways, but at least it's made of a softer material, so it's not going to restrict any bit of the figure's posability. And he has some nice decently detailed feet. But again, like a little bit of paint could have gone a real long way. Peg holes on, once again, the undersides of the figure's feet. I do always appreciate the fact that any company, McFarlane or otherwise, take the time to actually sculpt the undersoles, so it's not just flat feet that you're looking at all the time. I mean, obviously, I do like the idea that they do have peg holes on the undersides of their figure's feet, and I always appreciate the fact that McFarlane team is one of the only few companies that still are releasing their figures with display stands. Believe me, it's appreciated. For the figure's articulation, once again, the head's going to be a little more on the limited side just because you're going to have to get your thumb in there. For all intents and purposes, it does look up, it does look down, and it does look back and forth. And between those, you can actually get the figure, like if you wanted to have him looking sideways, sort of have to just bring his thumb forward. You can't really do, well, you bring his head forward with your thumb. You really can't do all that much here with the hood just because it's all one attached piece. The upper torso is on a very generous ball joint. The lower torso, just below the belt actually, is on a also additional ball joint. You can bring those arms up comfortably at 90 degrees. Looks like he wants to pound. Fireworks. You take those arms and you rotate them all the way around, and because again the jacket's made of a softer plastic, it doesn't get in the way at all when it comes to rotating the figure's arms. Figure does have a bicep swivel, and actually what they've done is they've cut a swivel right there just above the elbow joint. So you can swivel it right there. Figure does have a double hinge on the elbow, and there's articulation, of course, in the hands. You can rotate those all the way around. For the legs themselves, they do split out. There's nothing, again, really getting in the way of things other than just the clip section of his legs do get pretty close to his belt area or to this lower half of his body. I mean, you're probably not going to be displaying the figure like this anyways, but again, there's that option available. Legs go forward, legs go back. There's a mild, very, very mild swivel at the top of there, just more of the way it's been assembled. Figure does have a double hinge on the knee once again. And then there's the articulation already as mentioned, up and down on the ankle. You can move it back and forth. And there's toe articulation also as well. All in all, not a bad looking figure. Again, one of the things about these figures is, as good as they are sculpted, I just wish that a little bit of extra time in the paint department could have been afforded to these figures. They look so fantastic really on display, but with a little bit of wash, a little bit of like diluted black paint, and a little bit of silver accents, just think how much nicer this figure could look. Sculpt wise, knocks it out of the park. Paint though, I think it could have used just a little bit more. I think whenever McFarlane's team releases a character that's known for carrying around firearms and then not to include firearms with those figures, of course collectors are going to be a little bit more disappointed. At least to the credit of Arkham Knight Red Hood, they didn't include pistols, no, but at least they included flame effects that can attach onto the figure's hands. Again, here in final looks, I've got the hand on one side at least, sort of looking like he's swinging it, so it would then explain why he has the flame effect sort of trailing behind it. Yes, I would have liked it this figure could have come included with pistols, but I'm also one that realizes too that I have collected quite a lot of these DC Multiverse figures, and I'm sure honestly, even though this figure doesn't come included with one, I can easily go back to my tote of other things, other accessories that have come included with figures. Heck, I can also go back to my original Red Hood figures and use the pistols that came included with those figures, or McFarlane team, obviously, they realize too. Collectors are going to be disappointed that these figures don't come included with guns, so while they can't include them with the figures, they can at least release gun packs. Still, eventually would like to pick up at least one of two of those, so I can have them displayed with the figures that have been omitted pistols up to this point. The figure, once again, comes included with a trading card. The trading card, once again, kind of reiterates that there is some lacking of paint, unfortunately, here on the figure of Red Hood. I'm sure it's something I could probably go in and touch up. I'm sure it's something that other collectors have touched up on their figures. Nicely sculpted figure. It just needed just a little bit more paint love. But what do you guys think of Arkham Knight's Red Hood? Pretty nicely designed character. Do you also feel like this figure could have come included with pistols? Again, even if you were to say yes, we know right now the state that the DC Multiverse is in, we just can't get guns with these figures. We can at least get Freeze guns with Mr. Freeze, which again, I guess there's a little more of a gray issue with that. But straight out pistols is a big no-no apparently right now. What do you guys think of this figure? Let me know down below in the comments section. And once again, a big thank you to the folks over at McFarlane Toys that were nice enough to actually provide the sample of the Arkham Knight Red Hood that, in fact, we could have a look at in this review. If you guys enjoyed this video, want to hit with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing and certainly on board to see more, we are also going to be looking at, thanks to the folks over at McFarlane Toys, we're also going to be looking at some more DC Multiverse figures in the pipeline coming your way. So making sure that you're not missing out on any of that, making sure you're hitting that subscribe button, yes, and that you're also turning on the bell notification. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.